In ASP.NET MVC, to send strongly typed data from a view to a controller, you bind the form to a view model, then specify the view model as a parameter type in the controller action to capture and process the data. There are also other methods of passing data, so check out the links in the video description. Now in this part, you'll learn how to bind the form to a view model, and we have already done the first step, which is to just create an action and then pass as a parameter the view model that you want to bind in the form. So we want to pass this data, which has just a property content. Let us copy the post VM, and then let us go to create status. And then here at the top, I'm just going to define that this form is going to be bound to the model post VM. Now you can see we get an error, and in here we have two solutions. You can either use the using statement here at the top, or you can just go again to the Solution Explorer, go to Views, and then in here go to View Imports. And then just import using circle app.viewModels.home. Let us go back to the view, and now you can see that the error is gone. Now the only thing that we need to do in here is that since we are going to pass for now just the text content, we are going to define in here that the text area, we want to use a property from this view model. Before we do that, let me just enable the word wrap. For that, I'll just go to here and then search word wrap, this one. I think the code is cleaner this way. And then down here, so basically for the text area, I'm just going to define that this input is going to be used for the content. So for that, ASP and then for, and this is going to be used for @model.content. Just put it here. So this field in here is going to bind the value to the content property of the model or post VM. And whenever we click the submit button, we want to send a request to an action. For that, in the form, we just define that the ASP controller is going to be the home controller, and the ASP action is going to be the action name, which in this case is create post. We just copy, paste it in here, and now the method can optionally be defined to be post, but the default action for the methods is post, so you can just remove this part. Let us save the changes. I'll just go to the home controller. I'm going to put a breakpoint. Let's just start the app. Now here we see that we have an error, and the error says that the item passed in the view dictionary is of type list post, but the view data dictionary instance requires a model of type post VM. Now this error is coming from the index file, because if I go to the index, I'll just go to basically home and then index.c#html. You can see in here that this is the model. But when we render the partial views down here, we do not define a model, which means that by default is going to use the model from this file. But our partial view expects a post VM instead of a list of posts. Let us just pass a default value in here. So on the create status, just type model is equal to new post VM. Let's just run the app. We can see now that the app is running fine. Let me just click in here and then just type this is the first status from the app itself. This is not hard-coded in the DB initializer, and then click the create button. You can see that we did reach the breakpoint, and if I hover on the post, I have the value in the content property. Let me just continue. I have the logged in user ID hard-coded to 1, I create a post, I add it to a database, and I just return to action. And then here, if we scroll down, we can see that we have the status. Now, of course, we can see the post, and we can also see in here just now, which looks good, but the newer post should be first. So let us go and fix this one as well before we move to the next part. In here, this needs to be fixed in here. Order by descending, and then we're going to use the date created. So this way we have the last post first. Let us save the changes, just run. And now we can see that the last post is first. Let us add another one. This is just another one for testing, and then create. We reach the breakpoint, I'll just continue. And now we can see that we have the other post and it shows first. Now the next part, you learn how to add a post, but with an image.